What's up everybody, I'm Duncan Deep and today I'm bringing you some in-depth look at Monster Hunter World's Gunlance. The Gunlance is a heavy, slow, but defensive and very powerful weapon. The gun in the name does not make this a ranged weapon. In fact, all of the shells can only be fired off at close range. If we take a look at the weapon guide for the Gunlance, it seems deceptively simple. Unlike other weapons, it has no long built-in combo chains for you to memorize. Instead, the Gunlance relies on the fact that you can string all these attacks together in whichever order is needed at the time, allowing you to build your own devastating combos to fit the situation at hand. Before we move on to any of the attacks, let's take a look at the Gunlance user's movement. As a slow weapon, I was personally worried that it wouldn't transition well into this new, faster Monster Hunter. Luckily, it has a new forward hop just by pushing X and a direction with the weapon out, which is shared by both the Gunlance and the Lance. This does a lot to make the weapon more mobile, allowing it to keep up with the new pace of the game. After attacks, the X button can be used for side hops and back hops along with a directional input. These are much more useful for positioning than evades. The shield is going to be the Gunlance's most effective way to prevent damage. Pressing triangle gives you the basic Gunlance poke. You can chain 3 of these pokes together, and at any times you can hit circle to fire off a shell for extra damage and to extend the combo chain for as long as you have ammo remaining. Holding R and hitting triangle will give you a slightly weaker but an upwardly angled poke for hitting monsters above you. After this poke, if you keep holding R and hit circle, it will give you a speed reload. If you release R and then hit circle, just like with any other Gunlance attack, you will fire off a shell for extra damage. Pressing triangle and circle together will perform a strong upward scoop slash. Again, this can be combined with a shell shot for high damage on monsters or monster parts that are directly above the hunter. Hitting triangle directly after the scoop will perform the Gunlance's strongest physical attack, the slam. Hitting circle will release every shell remaining in your lance, doing huge damage in the area directly in front of the hunter. The final returning attack is the Wyvern Fire. Holding R and hitting circle and triangle together will launch a huge blast of flame, doing serious damage. Once you have used this attack, the Gunlance will overheat and you will be unable to use Wyvern Fire for a short time afterwards. In addition to all of these attacks that have served the Gunlance so well, Monster Hunter World brings a new attack to the table, the immensely powerful Wormstake Cannon. You can chain into this new attack in a number of ways. The first way to use the cannon is the most simple. You just hit circle 3 times in a row. This can be done at the end of any combo and will fire 2 shells and then the cannon. The second way to use the cannon is to hit circle directly after firing a burst fire blast following the slam. Finally, if you want to use the slam but not fire any shells, you can hit triangle twice after the slam for a strong sweeping slash followed by launching the Wormstake. Unlike with the other attacks, which are all returning from old games, this move is brand new, so I'd like to actually examine it in a little more detail. We're going to be testing it on the Great Jagras. Once you have embedded the stake in a monster, it will inflict 15 hits of damage, and then it will explode. The hits seem to be like slashing damage. Depending on what part of the monster you hit with the stake or with the spark from the stake, we do different amounts of damage. Here we see 9s, 8s, and 6s. The explosion does 47 damage in this hit zone. Let's take a look at the Wormstake hitting a different part of the monster. When embedded in the head, we see that the sparks do 7 damage each, confirming the idea that they're probably based on the part of the monster that the stake hits. When we hit the Great Jagras with a regular shell, it does 18 damage. From this we can see that the Wormstake is incredibly powerful, doing up to 10 times as much damage on this monster as a regular shell. This is an incredible new tool for the Gunlance's arsenal. Alright guys, that's all I've got to show you for the Gunlance. I'm going to leave you with a full Great Jagras hunt so that you can watch that and have fun enjoying all of these new mechanics. Please bear in mind that I was trying to get footage for these different attacks and also for the data that I just presented on the Wormstake, so maybe at the beginning of the hunt I was a little bit less fluid than usual. I'm going to shut up now and let you enjoy it.
Chance to get in there and tear it up. vicious attacks. The monster's been immobilized. Now's your chance. Look, the monster's almost done for. Chances are it'll retreat to its nest to recuperate.